My sister asked me to invite my mother-in-law to her wedding, but she refused with unkind words.
What? You want me to attend your sister's wedding? I'm definitely not interested.
Well, I wanted to make my sister happy.
Do you really think it's worth my time to attend your sister's wedding?
My mother-in-law smirked and calmly started her refusal. I knew she didn't like me, but I never thought it would affect my sister's wedding. However, she still hasn't realized that things are already in motion behind the scenes. My name is Daisy, and I am 36 years old. I lost my father when I was young and had to start working right after graduating from junior high school to support my sickly mother and sister. Every day was a struggle, but I felt relieved when my mother passed away 5 years ago. My sister became independent, so I didn't need to work so hard anymore. I'm currently a housewife, having married my husband Nathan, who was a regular customer at the cafe where I used to work. I resigned from the cafe after we got married, and it was all thanks to Nathan. When he proposed to me, he looked apologetic and told me the reason why.
I have a request for you. Daisy, if you don't mind, would you become a housewife after we get married?
Huh? Me? A housewife?
Well, you know, I can't do any housework, right? So I think I'll leave all the housework for you. In return, I want to work hard and support us financially.
But that would put a lot of burden on you, Nathan.
I love my job, so it's okay. Besides, I always hated that my mom worked outside all the time.
His mother is a famous cooking researcher named Karen Walker, who is almost 70 years old, but still works vigorously. She is invited as a guest on daytime cooking shows, and her recipes are also published in magazines. She is more than just a hobbyist cooking instructor. I have tasted her cooking a few times, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is very delicious. My mother and sister even purchased her cookbook. When we decided to get married, my friends envied me for having Karen Walker as my family. By the way, my husband's parents divorced when he was young, and his mother, who was raising Nathan alone, worked hard every day as a cooking researcher. However, it sometimes caused difficulties for her young son. She received attention from the public due to her fame, and at that time, she was subjected to hurtful words. Due to her busy schedule, my husband was not able to express his painful feelings to anyone and had kept them bottled up. As a result, my husband and his mother had a strained relationship for a while. At that time, he even hated his mother a little bit. He said so with a slightly sad expression. Perhaps because of his past experiences, he wants me to be a housewife, so that our future children won't feel lonely. I decided to support him as a housewife while understanding his feelings. I also wanted to maintain a good relationship with my mother-in-law while keeping a certain distance. However, I soon realized the harsh reality that Karen Walker as a mother-in-law was a more terrifying person than I had imagined, which became apparent a few months after we got married. My mom says to come and visit. One day, my husband said to me out of blue, and we visited her. I felt a bit nervous as we arrived at my in-laws' house. I have never had a proper conversation with my mother-in-law before, as she has always been busy with work. Even during a marriage proposal, she had to take a work call, and we didn't get to talk much. I have visited their house a few times for family gatherings, but it seemed like every time I went, my mother-in-law had some urgent work to attend to. Nevertheless, I have tasted her cooking before, as she always sent some dishes for my husband to take home after work. As a gesture of gratitude, I brought along some small gifts as we headed to their house. As soon as we arrived, my mother-in-law greeted us with a smile at the entrance.
Whoa, it's been a while. Are you doing well, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How about you, Mom? You look great as always.
Of course. If I'm not healthy, I can't continue working.
You never change. But don't work too hard. And make sure you take care of yourself.
Don't worry, I'll be fine. I've always been physically strong.
I couldn't really join in on the conversation between my husband and his mother, so my mother-in-law took notice and turned her gaze towards me, then slowly started talking to me.
It's been a while since we last met, Daisy. Have you been well?
Yes, thank you. Sorry for not keeping in touch.
Oh, that's okay. I'm usually quite busy myself.
Your cooking is always delicious, Karen. I really enjoy it. Here, this is for you. I hope you like it.
Oh, chocolate? Looks nice. Come on in. I've made dinner.
Upon receiving the souvenir, my mother-in-law smiled and urged my husband and me to come in. It was the first time we had met in a while, but her friendly personality made me feel a little more at ease. As soon as we were led into the living room, my mother-in-law suddenly exclaimed in a loud voice,
"What, Mom?"
When my husband asked her back, she said apologetically,
"I'm sorry, Nathan. I seems to have ran out of milk."
Milk? Are you using it for something?
I'm using it for dessert. I'm sorry to ask, but could you go buy some?
Okay, I got it. I'll go to the supermarket.
Thank you.
Then, my mother-in-law let out a sigh and glared at me, creating an awkward atmosphere as my husband left the house.
I never thought someone like you would actually marry Nathan, you know?
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, Nathan marrying an uneducated high school dropout like you. I never thought it would happen.
Wait, are you talking about me?
Who else could I be talking about? I thought if I didn't interfere, you would break up eventually. But I guess I was wrong.
So, you were against me marrying Nathan? My trembling voice asked if that was the case, and I was fearful. Mocking me, my mother-in-law showed a smile, calmly saying yes. The world in front of me turned dark with that one word. It was at that moment I realized that my mother-in-law hated me. She continued to berate me mercilessly, with a sneer on her face, while I was left speechless.
Listen, Daisy, did you really think that I would ever accept someone like you? Bottom feeders like you, who only have a middle school education?
Wait a minute. I only dropped out to work and support my mother and sister.
Do you think that's enough to make me shed tears? You are nothing but a parasite who's dependent on Nathan now. How dare you speak with such arrogance?
That's not what I meant.
Anyway, you should break up with Nathan as soon as possible.
Huh?
Don't say anything unnecessary to Nathan. Just tell him you want a divorce.
Wait, hold on a minute. There was a sound of the front door opening, and then I heard my husband's voice saying, "I'm home." My mother-in-law quickly headed to the entrance to greet him. My head was still filled with the hurtful words my mother-in-law had just thrown at me. I had no idea she thought so poorly of me. To her, I was nothing more than a nuisance. It wasn't just the fact that she had insulted me by calling me a high school dropout. What hurt me the most was being called a parasite who depended on my husband for everything. He asked if something had happened, but I didn't feel like I could tell him the truth. After that day, my mother-in-law started to harass me. Every time we were invited to my in-laws' house, she would find ways to leave us alone and would say hurtful things to me. I even received snarky messages on my phone. 3 years had passed since we got married, but the situation didn't change. Still, I didn't want to ruin my relationship with my husband, so I endured the harassment silently. One day, my sister Hazel called me. She sounded she was happy to talk to me.
Hey Daisy, it's me. Good to hear your voice.
Hello, Hazel. What's up?
Actually, can I talk to you about something related to the upcoming wedding?
Oh, it's coming up soon, isn't it? What about the wedding?
Well, I was wondering if it's possible to invite Miss Walker.
Wait, you want me to invite Karen, my mother-in-law?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Miss Walker, so I was hoping she could come to the wedding.
Hearing Hazel's happy voice makes my heart ache. If possible, I don't want to have anything to do with her. However, I can't tell my happy sister that. I inform her that I understand and make up my mind to call my mother-in-law. She answered the phone with a cold voice. What is it, Daisy? I have a little request, actually. Huh? Why should I listen to your request? It's not for me, but rather it's a request from my sister. Your sister? Yes. My sister Hazel is a big fan of yours, and she really wants you to come to the wedding. There's a silence on the other end of the phone, and as the silence drags on, my heart starts to beat loudly. As expected, my mother-in-law responds with cruel words. Huh? Me? At your sister's wedding? What kind of joke is that? No, it's not a joke. So, you were serious about it? You're asking me, someone like me, to attend your family's wedding? Obviously, I don't want to. But my sister is a really big fan of you, and do you really think it's worth my precious time to attend a wedding of a high school dropout's little sister? My mother-in-law spoke as if my lack of education was the reason she couldn't participate. I couldn't find the words to respond, and she just chuckled at me. Don't underestimate me. I'm a popular cooking researcher, Karen Walker. It's already embarrassing enough that my son's wife only has a middle school education. Why should I bother going to your sister's wedding? Please, I just want to make my sister happy. No, I don't care what happens to you and your sister. I don't have time to be nice to poor, uneducated people like you. At the moment, an anger that I had never felt before surged through my body. It was the moment I swore a revenge against my mother-in-law. I couldn't forgive her for belittling my sister just because she didn't like me. I absolutely couldn't forgive her. If that's how it was going to be, I was going to corner her completely. I immediately began taking action to get revenge on my mother-in-law. I went to the in-laws' house alone, turned on the recording function on my smartphone, and rang the intercom. My mother-in-law made no attempts to hide the fact that she was displeased. What are you doing barging into my house like this? Please, I'm begging you. It's about that earlier conversation, isn't it? No, it's a waste of time. Don't make me repeat myself. Please, I'm begging you. I want to make my sister happy. I don't care. Why should I waste my valuable time for people like you? People like us? It is frustrating, but there is no point in arguing back at this moment. I took a deep breath and lowered my head to my mother-in-law once again, trying to keep calm. "Please, I'm begging you. I want you to attend my sister's wedding to make her happy."
You're so persistent.
"I won't do it, no matter how much you ask. I won't lower my pride to fulfill the request of a daughter-in-law who's only graduated from junior high.
Please, can't you find a way to make it happen?"
At that moment, my mother-in-law suddenly grabbed my bangs to pull them up, bringing her face close to mine and slowly speaking.
Do you understand your position? You are a poor, uneducated woman who didn't even finish middle school. Asking me for a favor is out of the question. I don't want to associate with a lower-class family like yours."
You don't have to say like that.
Oh well, I guess your parents are already gone, aren't they? How pitiful.
It was then that I had no regrets in front of my mother-in-law, who looked down on me. When I glared at her, she trembled for a moment.
What's with that look in your eyes?
I calmly told her as she raised her voice. "I understand. The matter regarding my sister's wedding is fine now."
What? You backed down easily. Then you should have listened to me from the beginning.
Seeing her actions, I took out my smartphone and sent the recorded audio file to my husband. Seeing me do this, my mother-in-law trembled and asked me,
Daisy, what are you doing now?"
"Oh, actually, I've been recording our conversation the whole time. I just sent the recording to my husband."
Wait a minute. What are you doing?
"Is there a problem?"
This is a big problem. You did something without telling me. Who do you think I am? I am Karen Walker.
"So what?" As I calmly spoke, my mother-in-law's expression began to stiffen. I mercilessly continued speaking, as if to vent all of my pent-up resentment. There's no way I could tolerate someone who judges people based on their academic background. It's true that I only have a middle school education, but that doesn't mean I haven't struggled. I worked hard for my family, and I've lived my life with all my might. I won't stand for you denying my life like that."
Daisy, please calm down. The neighbors can hear you.
Despite the situation, my mother-in-law was still only thinking about herself. I continued to berate her in a loud voice that could be heard throughout the neighborhood. "Are you saying that being rich makes you great? Or that graduating from college makes you superior? That's absolutely not true. I might only have a middle school education, but I am happy to be married to Nathan. What do you think Nathan will feel about your true nature? You're going to end up being hated by your beloved son. It's too bad." I shoved my phone screen in front of my mother-in-law's face. There was a message from my husband on the phone screen that said, "I'm cutting tie with you, Mom." My mother-in-law turned pale and collapsed to her knees. I left without helping her. Later, my husband called his mother and clearly told her about the estrangement. I could hear my mother-in-law crying and screaming on the phone so loud that even I could hear her. This incident caused my mother-in-law to become emotionally unstable, and it began to affect her work. She threw harsh words at her staff and hurled abuse at her co-stars, causing a lot of problems. As a result, she gradually lost her work and recently stopped appearing in the media altogether. I have some mixed feelings, but I don't regret what happened. It was my mother-in-law's own doing. On the other hand, my husband suggested that we move to an apartment near his company. He probably wanted to get away from his mother as well. We live peaceful days now. To my delight, we recently welcomed a new life into our family. When this child brings a marriage partner someday, I don't want to reject them, no matter who they are. I want to be a parent who respects their children's feelings rather than unilaterally deciding things.